afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, I want to say Fernando Mateo does not represent anybody in the taxi industry. The Taxi Workers Alliance, our base is in the yellow cab industry. We have over 14,000 members. We can tell you from our friends in the livery industry that this guy has absolutely no base of support. His only supporters are basically him, himself, and him. That's his base.
Yep.
This is the same guy who a month ago led a protest to say we are going to boycott passengers in wheelchairs. So first it's people in wheelchairs, now it's the entire Black and Latino community. Who's going to be next? Babies and grandmothers?
Yep.
I mean, let's be real about it. He is making an outrageous statement so he can bring a little bit of relevancy back to himself, so he can present himself to the media and get the attention he so desperately craves. In the 14 years we've been organizing, we've never had a year where we haven't gone to an ICU unit or, God forbid, even a funeral. We know the severity of this issue. The racial profiling is not the answer.
That's right.
What he has done is taken a serious issue affecting a workforce of over 60,000 hard-working men and women. And he's assaulted our right to dignity by trying to politically opportunize off our blood. And that's absolutely unacceptable. Secondly, we know from our experience that people looking out for you on the street, oftentimes when a taxi driver or a livery driver is injured, it's their neighbor, it's the passerby on the street that's the first to come to their aid. A statement as inflammatory as Mateo made only alienates drivers from the same community that could actually protect us during isolated 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
He has done nothing to advance the issue. In fact, he has taken us steps backward. And how dare he? How dare he do that just to advance a political agenda? We've been calling for the Taxi Driver Protection Act to be passed by Albany for months now. It's being sponsored by Senator Eric Adams and Assemblyman Rory Lanceman. It would put assaults on taxi drivers on the same level as assault on transit workers. And it would require a warning sign inside taxis and liveries. And you want to know how much work Fernando Mateo did to advance that piece of legislation?
Zero.
Not an ounce. That's how much. That's how much he's deeply cared about these issues. And we're sick and tired of this man claiming to represent our industry and taking our issues backward when there is real exploitation in the taxi industry that's affecting the lives of tens and thousands of hard-working men and women.
So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people unjustifiably being stopped. And we're also talking about the violation of our human rights to move about peacefully in our communities without being harassed because we're Black or Latino. And don't think racism can't be espoused because the person's Latino or the person's Black. They think that it's not racism because a Latino person is saying it. So we say no to racism. We say this is absurd. This is coming out of a fool's mouth. This is out of desperation because people don't know what to do about crime. I'll tell you where you can start with economic development and job creation. And building cultural centers and putting computers in our schools. Let's transform the infrastructure of the Black and Latino community, and I will guarantee you crime will come down. And we're definitely, our condolences go out to all of the families of the livery drivers who lost their loved ones or was injured, and we ask for a speedy recovery and anybody engaged in that brought to justice. But don't bring racism in the picture.
Just to demonstrate the kind of widespread indignation that Mateo's remarks have generated, there's representatives here from the Justice Committee, also from the National Congress of Puerto Rican Rights. We had a statement from Haley Rivera, who's with the Dominicanos United of the Bronx. And with us today also is Outlandish Rodriguez, who represents a very dynamic Dominican community up in Washington Heights. We'd also like to say a few words in English and in Spanish for our viewers.
Well, I used to be a taxi driver. I used to be a 112, and the car driver, not a yellow car, but I used to drive 112 a Caddy car service and then Bailey car service in the Bronx. And I'm very familiar with the hard work that men and women got to do in order to support the family. When it comes to taxi drivers, I don't think that we value the contribution that they do to the city, the number of hours that they have to work day and time. Cab drivers, and we got to do it to educate our brothers and sisters